Selamat malam, guys. Selamat malam, guys. I think we are live. Please do let me know in the comments if you can hear me loud and clear. Selamat malam, guys. Welcome to the live, and thank you so much for joining me tonight here from Tarakan in North Kalimantan. So, do let me know, guys, in the comments. Can you hear me loud and clear? Because with these YouTube lives, it's always a bit difficult to know if the audio is good because I can't exactly hear myself. Let's see. Kalian bisa mendengar saya? Is it clear? Selamat malam, guys. Hey, Rafif. Welcome. Hey, guys. Good to see you here. Thank you so much for joining. Mantap. Siap. Okay, so I can see that the audio is clear. We're ready to get started. So, guys, thank you so much for joining tonight. I've been wanting to do a live now for a long time. It's been a while since I've had my last live, and this is a good opportunity for me to answer some of the questions from you guys that you might be wondering that things I might not be answering in my videos. So I made a post on my YouTube community, and you guys came with a lot of good questions, a lot. I appreciate it. So I've chosen 25, 26 questions, something like that. I'm going to try and run through them in a decent pace, so we're not going to be stuck here with me all night. Thank you for joining, guys. Selamat malam. Glad to see you here. Okay, guys, let's get started. So in today's live, I'm first going to cover some of the questions that you have asked in the community tab. And we're going to start with my background a little bit. We're going to talk a bit about family. Then we're going to head into the journey. Then talk about future plans. And then lastly, I will check the live chat. And you guys are welcome to ask any additional questions that I may not have answered. So, let's get started. First question: age, height, and birthday. So, I'm 29 years old. It's my birthday November 5th. I'm from 1993. I am 183 centimeters. And, my birthday. Told that already. November 5th. So, this year, as weird as it sounds, I will be turning 30. So I'm not exactly sure how I feel about that. For me, it sounds a bit old, but again, I still feel young, so we should be okay, right? Anyway, question number 2: what is your background as young, and why do you feel it's easy for you to accept different customs? So I have traveled a lot, as some of you might know. I've been to 40 something countries. I've lived in Denmark. In case some of you guys didn't know, I'm originally from Denmark. I've lived in Denmark, US, Cyprus, Spain, Turkey, Zanzibar, Tanzania in Africa, Indonesia, of course, and I think that's it. Two different islands in Spain, Tenerife and Mallorca. So I've always traveled a lot, and ever since I was this high, I've always traveled a lot with my family. So I love traveling, I love exploring, but most importantly, I love learning new things. So that's one of the main reasons why I travel so much. And in my country, there's only 5.7 million people, so it is a very, very small country, and the world is so big. So that might be why. Question number 3: why did you choose Indonesia for your journey? So for those of you who don't know, I used to work in logistics, and I previously had a contract in Atlanta, Georgia, USA. And then I was actually offered a job in Bogota, in Colombia. And I had already signed. I was on my way to Colombia. And then last minute, I get a call from our office in Jakarta, Indonesia. And I remember when I got this call, I was like, Indonesia. Wait, I know it's close to Vietnam, Thailand, something like this. I didn't know anything about Indonesia. And they said, Chris, we really want you for this position as business development manager in Jakarta. Do you want to come out here, stay for a week, see if you like it? And if you do, then you stay. If you don't, then you go to Colombia. And at that time, I could really use some vacation. So I was like, sure, I've never been to Indonesia. I came here, and the rest is history. I haven't worked in that office with that company for already, maybe 1.5, 2 years already, but this was what started my journey in Indonesia. Why I chose Indonesia. So, question number 4: how did you learn about shooting and editing? Do you have any prior experience? So, yeah, funny story. I actually don't. I haven't taken any courses in school. Previously, I didn't have any interest in editing or making video. But when I came to Indonesia and I started traveling, I just felt like this is simply too beautiful not to share with some of my friends from back home in Denmark. So maybe I can inspire some of them to come to Indonesia as well. And everything that I know about shooting, about editing, is basically learning by doing. And I've watched a lot of YouTube actually. Not a lot of people know this, but I actually almost never watch YouTube simply because I don't have time for it. If I watch YouTube, it's to get inspiration for editing, but I won't watch other people's travel vlogs, adventure vlogs, but I will watch editing tutorials like how to use Final Cut better. So yeah, that is how I've learned. So if I can learn, and you have an aspiration to become a YouTuber, an editor, I'm sure you can do it as well. All right, time to head into the family part. So, I've gotten this question a few times now, and it is, Christian, do you have a girlfriend? And for the biggest part of my journey, I have been jomblo, single, but actually for, oh yeah, 3 months now, I've had a girlfriend. I met her in Jakarta, and I haven't been posting a lot about it because that is kind of like one of the only things that is private to me. I share everything on YouTube. I share a lot with you guys, but at the moment, all I will say is that I have a girlfriend now. She's very, very sweet. We talk every day, and yeah, it can be difficult sometimes because I'm traveling so much. I'm always working. She lives in Jakarta, so she's fairly close by, but she supports me a lot with our video calls every night, sometimes every morning as well. So even though we can't be together every day, I still feel like, yeah, we make it work because we still communicate every day. Anyway, that was a long explanation, but yes, the question is, I have a girlfriend now. Anyway, when will your family visit again? So my family is actually coming out here in December, and it's gonna be pretty much all my family. This is the first time that my nieces are coming out here as well, so I'm super excited about that. Sorry, I'm gonna put that on silent. Yeah, that's the girlfriend. Um, and yeah, it's gonna be the first time my nieces come out here, and they're gonna come here in December. We are gonna be traveling. I'm gonna be showing them Bali and Komodo, and I haven't even been to Komodo yet, so I'm super excited about that. So yeah, it's gonna be our first like big family trip out here. But I highly doubt I'm gonna be making any video about this because it's such a big family vacation. We're gonna be like 13, 14 people, and yeah, I really want to enjoy it. So, but don't worry, there will be more videos with my family. The plan was actually for my little brother to come out here again. There have been a lot of questions as well asking. I love that. When will Magnus be in the video again? When will you guys be touring? And unfortunately, as some of you may know, Magnus was in a pretty bad motorcycle accident 3 months ago in Denmark. He was just out test riding his bike. He hadn't used it in a while, and he wasn't using a lot of protective gear. He crashed, and he hurt his leg really bad. So he's still today waiting for surgery. So yeah, he won't be coming out here in July as planned. But I guarantee you, Magnus will be on the channel again. We will be making more videos, and we will be touring again in Indonesia together. So it will happen, but at a later time. All right, time to head into the journey part. So the question is, solo or group travel? As you probably know, I do like solo travel. And one of the reasons I like it a lot is when I'm on my motorcycle, I'm just driving. I have all my gear. I feel like I have no worries. The only thing I have to do is to get to my destination for the day. And if I want to stop and buy yogurt in Indomart or water, or if I want to stop and go to the bathroom, I want to stop and take some pictures, I can just do it right away. But when you're traveling a group, there's always some waiting time. There's always even more planning. Some people want to do this, some people want to do that. And that's why I decided to do the Sabang sama Merauke journey alone, both because it's easier that way, I feel like, but also because it was quite difficult to find any friends who was like, hey, I don't have a job. I'm not planning to work for the next 3 years, so I can join. So I enjoy solo travel a lot. Of course, I like group traveling as well. It just requires some more coordination. That's all. So, all right, next question. Guys, I can see you're answering a lot of questions in the live chat. Don't worry, I will be getting to the questions in the live chat, but I will answer first the questions from my subscribers. So, next question. Do you have any plans to visit some of the provinces in or interesting places that you didn't visit going through Sumatra, for example? And yes, for example, when I did the Sumatra trip, I didn't go to Riau, I didn't go to Palembang. And yeah, sure, maybe I will visit them at another time. But you also have to remember, I still travel alone. I'm still doing everything on my own. And when you're on the road, sometimes you're like, you know what? Today I just feeling like going this way. I feel like going that way. I remember the reason why I didn't go to Palembang. I believe I was around Kerinci in Jambi at that time, and I was looking at Palembang, what to explore in Palembang. And as most of us know, Palembang is another big city. And I'm generally not a big fan of exploring big cities. I like visiting the tribes. I like going to the jungle. I like the adventure outdoors, but going around in the city isn't something I really find interesting. And I remember looking at Palembang, I was like, I'm sure it has a lot to offer, but it's also a big city. So I also knew that the traffic there around there is quite bad. Some of the roads there's a lot of lorries, so you have to be careful. I think I remember the crime around Palembang is a little bit higher. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But yes, so maybe I will be going to Palembang someday. But this trip is not about passing every single check mark. Traveling is not about that. Traveling is about feeling the moment, going where it leads you, and have fun doing so. So that is my Sabang sama Merauke trip. I don't think there's a correct answer to the right Sabang sama Merauke trip, as long as we're going from Sabang to Merauke. That was a long answer. Okay. Next question. Are you afraid of ghosts when you ride alone on the mountain roads? Oh, I have to try and answer this as politely as I can, because I know a lot of Indonesians, they love the ghost stories. A lot of Indonesians believe in ghosts as well, but I can safely say that I have zero worries about ghosts when I'm out on these mountain roads. I've even gone up some mountain roads. I believe it was in Aceh, where I was all alone for hours. It was cold, it was windy, it was raining, and I was going up this steep hill. And one of my friends had actually told me, be afraid, because at this corner, if you look back, you will see a woman and she will haunt you. And I remember going up that hill and I was like, do I look? Do I look? And I was like, yeah, you know what? Maybe she'll look back and smile at me. So I kept looking. I kept looking for this ghost woman that haunted these hills, but I never saw her. So yeah, I definitely don't believe in ghosts. How do you find information about your trips? So I get a lot of tips from you guys. Sorry. I get a lot of tips from you guys in the comments. And I do a lot of research. So that is another thing when people ask me, Chris, why don't you upload like every day or 3 times a week? Besides the editing and the shooting, I also have to do research about where I want to go. And not just that, but is there anything in this area I think that could work with the kind of video I want to make? And is it worth the time and the effort? And do I have time and Is it even possible? How much does it cost? So I do a lot of research. Typically, it's last minute kind of stuff I do, and I will say 50% of the content you see me shooting is planned ahead. Like I've planned to go on this trip, but the rest is actually like it just happens because then I meet someone on the road who, for example, like I already forgot his name. Such a kind guy, the guy who helped me get into the new capital. Oh, text in the comments if you remember. Anyway, if I hadn't met him, I wouldn't have gotten into the new capital. So, yeah, that's a part of it. All right, next question. Is it true that you still make everything on your own? And if so, how is it possible? Yes, at the moment, it's true. I'm still doing everything on my own. I'm doing the planning, I'm doing the writing, I'm doing the shooting with several cameras, I'm doing the editing, post production. I've actually, my good friend Damien, some of you know him as Who in the World. He just got married. Congratulations to Damien and Siggy, his lovely wife Siggy. She's actually helping me now with my subtitles, which saves me around 4 to 5 hours. So that's how long it takes, guys, to make subtitles for a video after I've already uploaded it to YouTube. So thank you so much, Siggy. In case you watch this at some point, you are awesome. So Siggy helps me with the subtitles, but besides that, yeah, I do everything on my own. And how is it possible? I will tell you how. Sometimes I don't sleep a lot, and what some of you might not know is that I work every single day, Monday to Sunday. I typically start my day at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm typically in bed by 10 or 11. And through that day, I will answer WhatsApp messages, emails, editing, planning, maybe do some shooting, and then I have to do the regular stuff as well that's necessary, like getting food, getting a haircut, getting exercise. I try to get exercise every day as well. So yeah, but something is fueling me to do this. Not all days are great. Some days I am in my bed and I'm like, what am I doing? But most days it doesn't feel like real work because I enjoy it so much. So yeah, I guess it's true what they say, when you find the right passion. So, all right, next question. What speed do you ride at? So I typically ride quite slow. I will say my average speed is maybe up, yeah. If there's no traffic, I'm out on the long roads in between the cities, I will maybe ride around 70, maximum 80. But you do have to keep in mind, I'm bringing 65 kilos of luggage on the back of my bike. So, yeah, the faster you ride, in case you crash, the bigger of an accident you can also get into. And I see so many times when I'm driving, not just when I was driving Sumatra, but also in Kalimantan, if you're not focused on the road 100% of the time, suddenly a goat will run across the road, a chicken will run across the road. In Sumatra, a lot of cows, and here in Kalimantan, cats, monkeys, children. And one of the worst is when people, they drive on their scooters and they want to make a turn, but instead of staying in the middle of the road before they make their right turn, they will go to the left side of the road first and then turn right in across the road. That is so dangerous. So yeah, that is one of the reasons why I generally ride quite slow. So if I'm talking too fast, just let me know. If you just tuned in, thank you so much for joining. I'm doing this Q&A today, answering some questions from my subscribers. And we are still answering questions about the journey. And the next question is, the most memorable experience in Kalimantan, and is it easy to travel in Kalimantan? Let's start with the last one, because it's definitely not easy to travel in Kalimantan. I would say if you have traveled Sumatra, you know that traveling in Sumatra can be a bit more challenging than just in Java, where you have access to roads all the time. But I would say Kalimantan is quite a big step up from riding in Sumatra. The roads are sometimes quite bad. They can be in Sumatra as well, but mostly because of the distance between the cities, and a lot of the medium-sized cities, they don't have like really nice fancy hotels. Even sometimes it's difficult to find just a decent homestay, let alone like find a restaurant, especially as a foreigner. If you have trouble with not eating fried rice and chicken every single night, yeah, that could be a problem. I've gone like almost a month without eating any Western food, but just rice, chicken, tempeh, rice, chicken, tempeh, iced tea. I drink a lot of es lemon tea, lemon iced tea. I love that. So yeah, it's definitely challenging to travel Kalimantan. But as you can also see through my videos, you're able to get some experiences that you don't just get from going to the main tourist attractions like Kawah Ijen in Java or Bromo. Some of these places that we all know what looks like. They're beautiful, absolutely beautiful. But so many people have already been there, so many of our friends, so we know exactly how it looks like before we go there. But if you go to Kalimantan, I guarantee you're going to have some experiences that your friends doesn't have. All right, next question. Oh yeah, what's the most memorable experience in Kalimantan? So my favorites are definitely living with the Dayagiban, the in Sungai Utik. That was like the big beginning. I feel like the big start of my Kalimantan trip. And can you believe it? Already been 9 months in Kalimantan. I can't believe it. Yeah, how it's been 9 months already. But definitely one of my favorites. Of course, Tanjung Puting when my father and my father's wife Connie was visiting. That was amazing as well. That's probably one of the biggest tourist attractions in all of Kalimantan, most famous tourist attractions. And then of course living with the Dayak Maratus in Desa Juhu, simply because it is, yeah, I think it's safe to say it's the most challenging, difficult thing I've ever done. Walking non-stop for those, what was it, 13 or 14 hours up and down two mountains. Crazy, but the experience of being there, being the only foreigner that's been there in like the last 6 years, it was, yeah, amazing. And then, of course, going to Makamulu, simply also because it's a place where I didn't see a single foreigner. I didn't even see a foreigner in Samarinda. It's extraordinary, adventurous experiences like this that I know that I will remember for the rest of my life. So a lot of good experiences. I could mention many more, but yeah, those are some of my favorites. All right, next question. Do you have health and vehicle insurance? So yeah, if you're planning on traveling alone, like I do, sometimes, I can control if I'm gonna crash on the bike. What's gonna happen? Am I gonna break an arm, break a leg? So if you travel alone, generally, if you're traveling, get a health insurance, and especially if you're riding an expensive motorcycle, you do want to get a motorcycle insurance as well. Yeah. In terms of health insurance, I'm using yeah, the one from UK. I think it's called William Russell. It's quite expensive, but and I hate paying for insurance. But in case something bad happens, yeah, you you want to know that you can go to a proper hospital. All right, 14. What is your monthly budget and how much have you spent so far? That one is a tough one. Um, my monthly budget, I think overall, my biggest expense is always hotels, and especially here in North Kalimantan. So the hotels, in terms of pricing, is like this. Uh, West Kalimantan, I was generally staying from 300 to 400,000 per night. Central Kalimantan, more or less the same. South Kalimantan was, yeah, I think more or less the same, 300 to 500,000 per night. But East and North Kalimantan, it just gets more and more expensive the north you go. In North Kalimantan, I have generally been paying 600 to 800,000 per night. And to be honest with you, not in the best hotels either, because there are so few hotels. So even though you pick the best one in the city, it's not generally that good. The interior might be a bit old. So yeah, it's much more expensive to travel in Kalimantan than it is in Sumatra. I think therefore my budget per month, I would say I've been spending, yeah, 10 to 15 million per month, maybe 10 to 14. So it has been expensive. And what have you spent so far? To be honest with you, I have no idea. I'm just trying to keep my budget as low as possible, and yeah, try to go full to bed every night. So I hope I answered that question. Next question: do you ever feel lonely? This is an interesting one. I've gotten a lot of people asking about this. I do see a lot of questions again in the live chat. Assalamualaikum, guys. Thank you so much for joining. I will be answering the questions first from my subscribers, and after that, I will be heading into the live chat to check your questions. I see FX Pro Go just send me a super chat for 20,000 rupiah. Thank you so much, my friend. God bless you. I appreciate it. All right, next question. Do you ever feel lonely? All looks good on the camera, but what about behind the camera? And yes, of course I feel lonely. I wouldn't say every day, not every day, but several times a week. I do feel lonely. It is a price that I'm paying to be able to do this trip. And usually I'm so busy that I don't even have time to think about the fact that I'm spending every single night alone in some hotel room. I have now spent, I believe it's 504 days in hotel rooms. That's how long ago since I started the journey. So, of course, that can be lonely sometimes, but every day I meet so many nice people. I can go on these big trips. I can, yeah, make friends that become almost like family. So I think the reason why the loneliness hasn't stopped me is because everywhere I go, people are so nice to me. They always want to help me. So it's a part of the journey. And of course, I have bad days as well. Everyone has bad days. So, but I will be getting into this again in a later question. How do you deal with loneliness? So, when I get really lonely and I feel like, oh, this is too much. Why am I putting myself through this? What is it for? Overthinking, analyzing all this. First thing I do, I call my family or I call my girlfriend because they always know what to say, and they have heard my speech so many times before. They know exactly what to tell me, that I'm on the right path. I'm doing what I love. What else do they tell me? That I've chosen up anytime. But then again, when anyone tells me you can just stop, anytime. But then again, when anyone tells me you can just stop, then I feel like even more like continuing. So they know exactly what to tell me. So if you get lonely, guys, when you're traveling solo, just call your family or friends and they will help you out. Do you ever get bored and think about stopping the trip? So, of course, sometimes I get bored. So, I'll give you guys an example. I spent 9 days, 9 or 10 days shooting the two videos you've just seen from Mahakamulu. And the editing, I've spent, for those two videos, I've spent roughly 180 hours in total editing those two videos, not separately, but 180 hours in total. And that's because I am very perfectionistic. I like going into the details. And I feel like when I edit a video, it's like making a home assignment. If you're going to do it, you might as well do it right. So when I'm doing my editing, I sit at a table like this, in a hotel room like this, for 10 to 12 hours a day. The only thing I do is go to the restroom, come back, continue editing. I will drink water, When I get hungry, I'll order room service. It comes here to the room. I'll eat that, take maybe a 30-minute break, continue again. And I do that until late night. And I do it nonstop for days because I know the faster I can finish, well, the faster I can upload it to you guys. So that one is a challenge. And do I feel like stopping? Sometimes I do feel like stopping, but for some reason I always end up keep going because I don't think I would be able to accept. I think I would be so disappointed in myself if I had made all this big plan and I stopped because everything is going well. So why would I stop? And if I had a, let's say, a regular job, if I was a farmer, or I worked in the office, I was an accountant, whatever, of course I would have bad days as well. Everybody has bad days, myself included. So yeah, sometimes I do feel like, should I maybe stop the trip? But I always come back to, nope, you made a commitment. You will be so upset with yourself if you didn't go through it. So yeah, sometimes I think about it, but it's not going to happen. All right. Next question. What's the worst that has happened during your trip? I've gotten a lot of these questions from you guys. And the thing is, I actually haven't yet have a really, really bad experience. I haven't had anyone bad experience. I haven't had anyone talk really bad to me, or thank God steal to me, or thank God steal any of my things. So I think I'm gonna head straight into the next question, which is, do you ever have any bad encounters with Indonesian people on your trip? I think we can combine that a little bit because I have had an experience I really did not appreciate. I think I've never told this before. So sometimes when I come to a new hotel, I will update on my Instagram or on YouTube. Now I'm in this city, I'm staying at this hotel, and sometimes, as sweet as it is, of course I appreciate it, but sometimes I will have followers or subscribers that show up to my hotel unannounced. And I quite often get calls from the room saying, "Ya, selamat sore," atau "Selamat malam, Mas Chris. Ada teman di lobby sekarang." Like, your friend is in the lobby. And generally, I don't have a lot of friends in those new areas. So I'm always like, okay, who is it? And quite often it's subscribers that just really wants to meet me, but forget that I might be editing. It might be 11 o'clock at night. I might be sleeping, or I was sleeping. And I think one of the most uncomfortable experiences I've had is I was editing one day and I was really stressed about it. And the phone had rang from the lobby several times saying someone was here to see me. And I told them I don't have time today. And suddenly there was someone knocking on my door. I assumed it was the hotel staff, but it was one of my dear subscribers who had told the receptionist that he or she was my friend. So they had just led the person straight to my room. And I was in my underwear when I opened the door. And I was quite surprised when the person said, "Hi, Christian." And I was like, "Who are you?" So, yeah, to cut that story short, you have to remember I do like privacy as well sometimes. And I think I definitely don't appreciate is people that I don't know. They may know me because of the videos, but people I don't know just coming to my room. So I think that's one of the worst experiences. And that says a lot because, I mean, yeah, could have been so much worse. All right. We are getting to the last questions, guys. I will be getting to your comments in the live chat soon. Thank you so much for joining, guys. If you have just joined, and thank you for staying with me and all my chirawetting here. So another question is there something that you have left out on your videos on purpose, and why? Oh, I think I'll tell you an interesting story tonight. So, of course, there are things that I leave out of my videos. It happens quite a lot. So some of the things that I sometimes leave out, I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, but of course, sometimes when I'm on these trips, I also say like, god damn it, this is annoying, or I can't believe it, or oh my god, what is happening? I can't believe it, or oh my god, what is happening? You know, as I would say when I look at these clips later on, maybe a little bit negative clips. It's unavoidable, you know, as I would say when I look at these clips later on, maybe a little bit negative clips. It's unavoidable. And generally, I tend to cut these out simply because they don't reflect the full story, the full experience. Because when I shoot these videos, I'm shooting hours and hours and hours of footage, and you might end up seeing 30 to 60 minutes. So, sometimes I leave out these parts where I'm saying something really negative, both because it's inappropriate, but also because it might give you guys the wrong impression of how it actually was. And yeah, sometimes I will cut things out if I think like, oh my god, that was so stupid. Or most of the time I will cut something out where I think my subscribers might think that is boring. Sometimes I might end up cutting out too much, but a thing, I can tell you guys a story tonight that I cut out of the Desa Juhu video. If you haven't seen the Desa Juhu video, it was a video from South Kalimantan where I hiked all the way up to a small village called Desa Juhu. And the only way to get there was by hiking 20 kilometers up and down 2 mountains. So I was staying with the local family there, and they lived in this old wooden house. We were sleeping on pure wooden planks, and the house was built on like poles. So every time someone was walking, the house would be like this. And then one night, I was sleeping right next to the kitchen. I just want to mention that. One night, I saw a cockroach out in the kitchen, and I was like, I have one of those one sprays. If you don't know what a one spray is, it's like poison that you spray one time. It kills all mosquitoes, flies, cockroaches, everything. It's genius. And I thought, you know what? I will just help them out and just kill that cockroach. So I took my one spray and I sprayed a couple of times in the kitchen. I thought maybe there's more than one. But then 2 hours later, it was bedtime. And in the Juhu village, they only had a genset, meaning that they didn't have electricity. So when it was bedtime, everything was completely dark. And I was living in this big room by myself, laying alone on the wooden floor, very high up to the ceiling. And then suddenly I could just, in the dark, I could start hearing like this. On the floor. And I was like, what is that? And I tried to find my flashlight. I found it, and I was looking around, and then I saw a cockroach laying on the floor, like on his back, like this. And I was like, maybe it was the cockroach from the kitchen earlier. I got him. Turn off the flashlight, put it back, all dark, and then I hear it again. Dun, dun, dun. And then suddenly like this. And I'm like, ugh. And I take the flashlight. So what had happened is that spray I had used was so powerful that not just the 1 or 2 cockroaches in the kitchen, but the maybe 50 cockroaches that was out in the kitchen, they had started migrating into my room, crawling up on the roof. And as the poison was slowly working, they were dropping down from the floor. So I kid you not, for 4 hours, I was laying down with my flashlight like this, just hear them falling, dong, dong. And when they fell down, they were still half alive. So they would crawl around, trying to get up again. I had cockroaches falling down on me. At some point, I hear something landing on the floor, and it didn't even sound like a cockroach. And I looked down, right next to me. I stood up at this point because I was freaking out. And it was maybe 1 o'clock at night. And I looked down, and it is a spider, like not the size of my hand, but I would say like this, that had fallen down right next to me. It could have fallen right on my head. I would have peed myself, proper peed myself. So that is one of the worst experiences I've had. Definitely the worst night of my life. And of course, I didn't film this and put it in the Juhu video because I was not filming at that point. I was so scared. I was freaking out. So yeah. Oh my god, what a night. Very very long story, but that is probably the worst experience I've ever had. Anyway, next question. Will Macan be replaced after Kalimantan? That's a really good question. All I can say for now is I don't think that's gonna happen. I love riding on Macan, and my journey will continue from Kalimantan soon. So I'm quite sure that Macan will be joining me for the next step. So, oh yeah, one of the last questions. What is your plan after traveling Indonesia? Will you go home? I get this question a lot. And I'm not even sure I have thought about I don't even think I've thought about it once or thought it once. Um as long as I can remember, I have had this dream now to stay in Indonesia. And the more I travel, of course, the more I feel like staying. So at the moment, I think my Sabang sampai Merauke trip could take 3 years, maybe 4 years. Who knows? Right now, I'm doing the journey. I'm going on the adventure. I'm not stressing at all. The first 6 months I spent in Sumatra, I was stressing a little bit because I was like, oh, but you have to do it within 1 or 2 years. But then I realized, says who? I mean, and no one can tell me exactly what's the right amount of time to do it. So, yeah, the plan is, guys, once I'm finished with the Sabang sama Merauke trip, my one of my biggest dreams right now is to buy my own house in Indonesia. It can be in Sumatra, it could be in Kalimantan, in maybe in East Java would be nice. So that's one of the things I'm saving up for. That's buying my own big house here in Indonesia. And yeah, I definitely don't have any immediate plans to leave Indonesia. So yeah, I hope you like my videos because there's gonna be a lot more. All right, guys, we are getting close to the end. So, ooh, I like this question. When will you become an Indonesian citizen? So, no joke. I had thought about this already last year, but the thing is, I'm not allowed to have dual citizenship. I cannot legally keep my Danish passport and be an Indonesian citizen as well. If that was an option, I'm pretty sure I would eventually do that, simply because I'm spending way more time in Indonesia than I'm doing in my own country. To be honest with you, I'm a bigger fan of the life, much bigger fan of the life in Indonesia than in my home country. So if it was an option, yeah, I think it's safe to say that I would love to do the test or whatever you would have to do to become an Indonesian citizen. Unfortunately, it's not possible due to the dual citizenship. So yeah, okay. Last question, guys. When will you go to Sulawesi? That's a really good question, and I'm super excited about it because the reason why I'm in Tarakan now in North Kalimantan is that I have positioned myself so that I can take the ferry to Sulawesi. So it will happen very soon. I am actually getting on a plane tomorrow. I won't tell you where, but I will be getting on several planes and I will be going on a very, very special trip. Um, I have two special trips actually. I will do another one here in Kalimantan, and I will be doing one probably deep in North Kalimantan. I'm not gonna tell you the location yet, but that would be great as well. So I think, yeah, 1 or 2 videos left to shoot in North Kalimantan, and that's gonna be it. I'm not going to be traveling as much in North Kalimantan as I've done in the other provinces, simply because I have been here 9 months now, and I can definitely feel that a lot of the things that I could explore in North Kalimantan, I've explored something very similar. I feel like I've explored the Dayak culture a lot. Of course, in North Kalimantan, there is the Dayak Punan as well, the apa namanya, the Punan Patu as well. I think it's called the Stone Tribe. But again, it is Dayak. So yeah, that's why I feel like it's time for me to continue the journey to another major island. So yeah, if everything goes to plan, guys, then in 2 weeks I will arrive in Makassar in Sulawesi. Super excited about that. So all right, well, time for me to head over to the live chat, guys. I hope you enjoyed me answering these questions. If you have any extra questions that I did not answer, then it's time to put them in the live chat, because I have been talking nonstop for 45 minutes. That must be tiring to listen to. So I think we're going to end it soon. Okay, let me check the live chat. Mohammed says, did you ever want to visit Pekalongan City? I'm not sure where that is, bro. You have to specify. What are you doing? That's a good question. Tamim. I'm doing a YouTube live. I'm drinking aqua. And after this, I'm going to bed. All right. We love you. Thank you so much, Sheila. That's so kind of you. Oh ya, jadi guys, kalau kalian tidak bisa pakai bahasa Inggris, jadi besok YouTube sudah seperti auto translate apa ya namanya? Besok saya bisa posting subtitles ya. Jadi ada subtitles bahasa Inggris dan juga bahasa Indonesia ya. Jadi ya, tapi maaf sekarang nggak ada ya. Dan untuk live ini saya pakai bahasa Inggris saja. Tapi mungkin next time ya, saya pakai bahasa Indonesia aja. Kalau kalian mau saya bikin YouTube live pakai bahasa Indonesia aja, ya, just comment below. Let me know. All right. Let me see. All right, guys. Last time to post some questions before I end the live. No, not the live, just the live. Calm down. How many times have you changed the tire while in Kalimantan? Good question. I only just last week changed the back tire on Macan because it had punctured. I have actually had a nail inside of my back tire for 3 months now, but it wasn't deflating too fast. But eventually it died. My rear tire died in Berao. So I changed it to apa namanya lagi? It's called Metzler Karu 4, and it's half touring, half off-road tire. Finally, KTM sent me this because the other tires I had on Macan, impossible to do off-road in. So hopefully now I can do a bit of off-roading, even though they only sent me one tire. So I only have the rear tire for now. And have you ever met ghosts? Nope. I've never met ghosts. I've seen ghosts though. If you want to see it as well, there's a really good movie on Netflix. I think it is. It's called Ghostbusters. That's where I've seen it. But yeah, in real life, no, I haven't seen that. Jesus Christmas. Martin, he just super chatted 329,000. Mate, thank you so much. That's mental. And massive shout out to Martin as well, because last night when we had the premiere, Martin is one of my loyal subscribers. He gave away 10 memberships to 10 random followers in the live chat. So guys, massive thumbs up for Martin. I really appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. All right, guys, last questions. Chris, how many cameras do you bring on your trip? That's a good question. I bring 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When I'm shooting with 6 different cameras. Nope. Yeah, six to 8 cameras. So that's also why my editing can take quite a long time. Do you still remember I'm on my bike? The I'm on my bike song. You used to sing it in the outro. Of course I remember it. It was my first homemade song ever. I'm on my bike. And I'm having a good time. Well, I can't believe that you remember that. Thank you so much. Wow, that was one of my first videos. I heard that song when I was riding back from my Java trip, and I was like, oh my God, this is too good. So embarrassing. But yeah, I do still remember that. All right. Do you have many stock shoots of your video? Yes, good question, Annie. I have probably 40 terabyte of footage, stock footage. And for those of you who don't know how much a terabyte is, might know what a gigabyte is. 1,000 gigabyte is a terabyte. So 40 terabytes, that's a lot. Yeah, so I have a lot of hard drives, which is also quite expensive. Did you want to react to your own first video ever in your YouTube channel? Oh, that's a really good question, buddy. So I actually had this idea just 2 days ago when I was on the boat from Tanjung Selor to Tarakan. I thought, what if I made a video reacting myself to some of my early YouTube videos? Because whenever I see some clips from them, I always smile like crazy because it brings back so many memories. So guys, if you want to see me do maybe a members only reaction to one of my old videos or do a live and react, let me know in the comments and I will really consider doing it. I think that could be fun. Oh, it is so difficult to read all of these questions, guys. 31 cent, not 51 cent, but 31 cents. I like that. Is saying it would be awesome to do more on the road videos. So I like that you're saying that, buddy. So to be honest with you, the videos I do when I'm riding on my motorcycle, I actually prefer making videos off the motorcycle simply because sometimes, actually 90% of the time, guys, on the motorcycle, you're just riding and enjoying the view. But if I made a full video of only riding and showing you guys the view from a GoPro, in my opinion, that would be so boring. So that's why what I'm trying to do now is I'll do an adventure video, for example, like Makamulu or Desa Juhu. And then in between the very big videos, I will do a more touring style video where I take you guys with me on the road. But lately, to be honest with you, it has been becoming more and more difficult for me to vlog on the motorbike because sometimes I run out of things to say as well. I will see something beautiful, but if all I say is, wow, look at that, guys, look at that, guys, that becomes super boring for you guys as well. So it's about finding the balance. And sometimes it's raining, sometimes I'm not in the mood, sometimes my camera dies. So yeah, it's a challenge, but I will definitely keep it in mind. I do know I have a lot of subscribers that still like the vlogging aspect. Where are you now, Christian? I am in Tarakan, and Ariati is here as well, watching from Hong Kong. Thank you so much, Ariati. And Rafif is here, my long time Orang Bike members. That's amazing. What time of petrol do you use for Macan? I'm guessing, Rafif, that you mean petrol. So, and I always use Pertamax. Not because I like the price of Pertamax, but because it is the best for Macan. All right, guys, I will be answering 2 more questions, and then it is bedtime for me. It is almost 10 o'clock here in Tarakan, North Kalimantan. Let's see. Oh, Muhammad Rizal is saying, what football club do you support in Premier League? I'm afraid I'm going to have to let you down, bro, because I am not a major football fan. Nah, I can't even say my favorite team. I'm sorry, I'm just not that big of a football fan. But I hope that your favorite team is going to do great this year. Yep. Boom, 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 boom. All right, last question. Let's pick a good one. I love that. Inni is saying, I work in television and feel that your videos are same quality as TV with some crew, but you do it yourself. That's super cool. Thank you so much, Inni. I really appreciate you saying that because I do spend a lot of time doing it. So thank you so much. All right, last question, and then it is bedtime. Let's see. Chris, how to join member. So, guys, in all of my videos, there's a link in the description where you can join my member section. There's also a link out on the main page, right corner, I believe, or it's in the middle that says join or ikuti. So if you want to be a member, there's various prices. I think the lowest one is 10,000 and 20,000, and it's simply to support the channel. And sometimes when I'm doing these big trips, where my last trip to Mahakamulu, for example, was very expensive. So it's to cover some of those expenses. Sometimes when I do charity as well. And with my Orang Bike community, we have been supporting UNICEF, the children of Indonesia, every month now for the last 6 or 7 months with 600,000 rupiah per month. So it goes to a good cause and to a tough journey if you guys want to join. And sometimes I'll give early access to my videos. So feel free, guys. All right. I think that's going to be it for tonight. I can't believe that we were pretty much consistently 400 people watching as I did this live. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. And Ariati, I saw that super chat and I'm loving it. God bless you for always being such a loyal follower. I appreciate it. To all of you guys, thank you so much for watching with me tonight. I hope I answered a lot of the questions that you wanted to hear. And if there's more questions that you want me to answer, then put them in the comment section and I will do another YouTube live again, Q&A style. So thank you so much, guys, for always watching my videos, for supporting my journey. God bless you. And good night, guys. Selamat malam. And to my Muslim friends out there, Assalamualaikum. Good night, guys. Awesome. I love all these comments from you guys. Good night, guys. God bless you too. Okay. Dadah, guys. It's bedtime.